So, my name is Genius Black.
I'm Angelikah Fahray.
I'm Kari Hodgens.
And we are collaborators on a project called Gem City. It's a 4-song album produced by myself, Genius Black. And I can let you know that Angelikah is on a song called She Is Real, in which she is featured with Tinyfoot. And then I can also let you know that Kari Hodgens is on a song called Watermelon Tourmaline, where she is featured with myself. And it's all fire. Right now, we are at Space in Portland, Maine. So, one question I have, whoever can answer first. When did you actually start performing music?
I think really started performing music. I was a kid. Mm-hmm. I started in front of my family, like putting on weird shows in the living room. And then I think in front of an audience, I was probably in like 3rd grade. Yeah.
Okay. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I started performing. My first performance in front of like an audience was during high school, and I performed Redemption Song, and by Bob Marley. And I was super nervous, first time ever. And I don't like to think about that moment, but seeing as I've come so far, it's good to look back at.
Wow, I love that you performed Redemption first. No games. Kari, how was your 3rd grade performance?
My 3rd grade performance, I was inspired. I think I sang a James Taylor song that my mom sang to us every night, and I went up on stage and the MC asked me, "What song are you about to sing?" And I told him, and he made some comment like, "Oh, that song's older than me." And I had no idea, and I was like really embarrassed at first, but it was totally, I don't know, it was awkward, I'm sure, but
yeah.
I thought it was cute. It's called You Can Close Your Eyes. It's like a lullaby. Yeah.
Okay, that's sweet.
I think it was just like me and a microphone, and then just no backing track or anything.
Acapella.
Yeah.
Okay, so I love these stories, and moving forward to adulthood, presuming we are all there. I don't know if I am. My next question really is there a Portland music sound?
I feel like there's not one sound. It's kind of like a melting pot, or just like a combination of sounds. So like you got your rock, you got your pop, you got your R&B, you got your folk, jazz, hip hop, classical, which is not. At least I don't know much about, like, I don't know like a bunch of like classical performances that are going on, but I'd like to see more.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely.
Yeah, I think, I wouldn't say that there's a Portland sound, so to speak, but I do think that, in the work that I've done with the open mic, I've met so many different people, and I've realized how connected people are really. Like, they might not know that they are, but then you go to another show and, you meet this sound guy who knows, people in this band, and it's just, I think that there's such potential for people, like, to meet real musicians. Like, I guess, it's hard to say exactly. It's just that there's a whole range of people who are relatively unknown, who have never sung in front of anyone ever before, and they get onto, play an open mic, and they're amazing. And then you have musicians who they're working musicians and gig regularly all the time, and they're super tight, super clean, amazing. And you can get this person and that person together, which I think this project like is a little bit about. And you know, it's just music happens organically. I don't know.
So true.
Makes sense to me. You know, speaking of, you know, if there's a Portland sound, what is it? You know, part of what we're working on right now is a project called Gem City. It's an album I put together with all y'all, but then I was also very much inspired by all y'all. For real, for real. It's a short album, but there's a lot of meat there. And so, my question is, what does Gem City mean to you?
I feel like Gem City, for me, feels like opportunity. I am grateful to you for giving me personally the platform to like be like, this is my voice in a way that no one has ever heard it before. And it's a way that my like heart and soul has like wanted to be heard and seen for a very long time. And so it's exciting hearing all of the different voices and people that you've brought together, and just to be like, look what these people can do that you've never met before, you know, or...
It's a big treasure box. Like when you came up with that concept and like told me about it, I was like, oh my God, that's super awesome. Like anybody can come here and it's like literally Gem City. Whatever artist you encounter, like they're a literal gem. And they're valuable. And it's amazing.
I can vouch for it. I'm not from Maine, I'm not from Portland. I've lived in this area a while, and it continues to blow my mind that I still meet artists. Still. Where I'm like, you've been out here? You've been out here? I never heard of you. And I got y'all that I rock with. Mm-hmm. So it's truthfully inspiring. Mm-hmm. And that is very much where the concept came from. Yeah. One question I have, Angelikah. What is it like performing with the Gem City crew?
It's awesome. Everybody's super cool. The vibes are just so supportive and just fun and laughter, and it's like we have our own world that we've created. And so it's so just natural. And there's no
We keep it musical.
Keep it musical.
I love that. I appreciate that. And I remember when we had a rehearsal and Viva came to my studio. And I honestly think it was kind of mind-blowing. She was like, wait, this is what it is over here? And it wasn't me. The crew was like, oh, you never been to a Genius Black session before? And I was just like, dang, I feel like a boss. But at the same time, it is the atmosphere we create, right? Like it is like the trust and the humor and the Susie making fun of me because she's good at it. You know what I mean? Like literally, that's the thing, and that's what we do, and that's kind of how we kind of draw some of this honesty and therefore music out of each other. So I can appreciate that. Next question. What is it like making music with Genius Black?
I can only speak to my experience, but I think that over the years I've gotten really like in my head about music, and you know, I'll psych myself out when someone's like quote unquote better than me or whatever, has a better knowledge of music theory or whatnot. But I remember talking to you about that when we first met, and you said, like, I gave you this whole thing, you know, I just get nervous sometimes, and you were like, you kind of were listening, but also you're like, yeah, and then you just like changed the subject, and you're like, it's really not about that at all, like none of that. No one cares about it. I don't care about that. And so you said to me like the process is actually surprisingly more fluid than any of that. And when I heard you say that, it was very much aligned with how my kind of like, I don't know, ADHD brain like processes things, and I felt like we just were able to skip past all of that like overthinking and just really, you know, you like played a little thing on the keyboard and that told me where we were, you know, in space, and then we just went with it, and it was very freeing, and you know, it was very fluid, as you said.
I will say in response to that once you started making sounds out of your mouth, I knew to get out of the way and let you be free. If you felt free in that moment, and this is when we were creating Watermelon Tourmaline, which is literally one of my favorite songs I've ever made in my entire life, and I realized that there was a certain level of trust and a certain level of vulnerability. Because I remember you saying like, oh, can you play the keys? And I was like, I can play a little, you know, and I started making the beat, and I remember you were like, I thought you said you couldn't play. I was like, I didn't say I couldn't play. It's not what I said. I said, I see what you mean, you're right. But like, we caught a vibe, and we caught a vein, and there was trust, and we made Watermelon Tourmaline. You know?
Yeah.
What about you?
Yeah, you know, you just like believe in us, and yeah, you believe in us, which makes, and like you want to work with us for a reason, which just makes using our abilities and our talent more like supported or like acceptable or whatever. So it's easy to work with you.
I sure appreciate that.
You're super passionate too, which makes me feel passionate. And I mean, you're dope at what you do anyway, so makes it even easier.
I appreciate it. I feel blessed all the time that y'all think I'm good at this because I'm just going. It's in my blood, it's in my family. But the level of trust that every person here for this interview and the whole album extends to me, I can honestly tell you there are times when like life is hard and things feel dark, and like the thing that like brings me to tears or like literally makes me back up and realize that my blessings are actually overwhelming. One question I have for anyone who wants to answer or has something to say, the process of collaborating on the song that you're on Gym City, what stood out about that to you? The process of collaborating.
Well, the communication was super easy, and the Wi-Fi was really good at my house. And so, you know, I know how to use like Logic and stuff, and I have a good microphone and stuff. So with all of that combined with super awesome people like yourself and Tiny Foot, the process went super smooth. And like for me in particular, it was like super quick to record on that song that I forget the name right now.
The name of the song is
She Is Real. Yeah.
can edit that part.
Yeah, we can use that part.
So you can back up and say, so the process of creating She Is Real.
So the process of creating She Is Real was smooth, easy. I probably recorded it in like 30 minutes. It was very pleasurable.
Wow, that's fire. I have so much to say about that because that's inspiring, but we will move on. What about for you?
You know, the process, I think, for me, too, the meat of the song, the bulk of the meat of the song came together pretty quickly. And then it was a lot of fun to talk about like what we liked about it and where we wanted to, you know. And I think that that's why I enjoy working with you, is because you're able to. Friends of mine have always told me that I like speak a little too abstractly, and I feel like you and I kind of have this, like we go right there and are able to like talk about complicated things, or things that we want to accomplish, like on this kind of grandiose scale, but like pull it back to like the reality of the making music. And so we were able to like to be really free, but also like bring it back, and your knowledge of the technical parts is very helpful.
Right on.
Like I know exactly what I want to hear, I know how to make that happen. Okay, here we go. And then
I love hearing that on the interview. I go for that, but we'll see if it always happens. You know, for me, it's interesting that it stands out that there were very different processes in creating She Is Real and creating Watermelon Tourmaline. I think they're both really impactful songs that really celebrate and contain a lot of feminine energy in a way that I enjoy. But we, over time, slowly workshopped that song. I like that you had the right gear, you had a good mic, you dug the vibe of the song. And it's interesting, when I was working with Kari to create Watermelon Tourmaline, there was also just this genuine reaction from her. But I was in a place there creating back and forth, because I was obviously not there with you, and the music was already kind of in a place. But I was able to respond to what she was doing, do a little this and that, and then as she added more layers, it kind of became a thing, which is why there's a lot of layers, and that's where you get the sound of Watermelon Tourmaline from. So for me, it's curious that when you take a different amount of time to create a song, and when you have a different workflow, it can come out feeling different. Although I love both songs, very much so. That being said, last question here. I'll start with you, Kari. What is next for you and your music?
That's a very good question. I am hoping to lean more into music, and I have, my goal is really to just prioritize it above most things, and give myself permission to do that, and not give in to the negative voices saying there's no money in it, it's not practical, all of those voices, because the truth is I'm going to do it no matter what, and so I might as well continue to form friendships, relationships, working partnerships, and continue to put shows on and make them happen. I have a lot inside of me that I want to express, and so I'm looking forward to bringing that out, and again, giving myself the permission to lean into it.
Absolutely. Thank you. What about you?
What was the question again?
Fair answer, fair question. The question is, what is next for you and your music?
Well, first I gotta get my music out there, making it available for people to listen to. Because ever since I started my music journey, I've just been performing it. I only have 2 songs out right now, but all the songs that I've been performing, it's not on Spotify, it's not on iTunes, nothing. So we're gonna first get it out onto the platforms, and then after that, we're gonna try and bring it international some way, somehow.
Yes.
By the grace of God.
Yes, I see that happening. I think that as people with amazing voices and stage presences, you can just get caught up in the performance and everything, and then sometimes we have to remind ourselves that by recording things and putting them out and making them accessible and available for people is part of how you get more people to come pay attention to you when you perform it, right? So that's real, and it can come off as secondary, but it's kind of primary. I appreciate both of y'all letting me know what's next for y'all so that I can help support that. That's a big part of what Gem City is about and what it means, and why I'm just so inspired by everything going on in kind of Portland, Maine, and the greater Portland, Maine area. But I also want our audience to understand what y'all are looking to do so that they can support and they can be entertained. They can be entertained. So I appreciate it.